morning starts the same way. The alarm rings. Not the motivational kind, not the new day, new energy kind. It's the kind where your hand moves before your brain does. When I wake up, I already feel tired. Not the sleepy tired, but emotionally tired. That's because before the day even starts, my mind is already full. Homeworks, tests, activities, expectations. I don't wake up and walk into the shower. I wake up and I study. Half open eyes, messy hair, book held so close I can barely even focus. Then I step into the shower. The water is freezing. Every part of me wants to step back, but I don't. Because school has taught me so well to move on, to keep going, to push through, even when I'm exhausted. And that's when I realized something very important. School teaches us to move on, to keep going, to push through. But it rarely teaches us when to pause. Let me clear something. This is not about blaming teachers. They work hard, they support us more than we even realize. The real problem is time. School days are packed. Period after period, syllabus after syllabus, tests after tests, there's always something next. And when everything moves in a rush, something quietly disappears. Reflection. Not because no one values it, but because nobody has time for it. Students from the outside look fine. Uniform on, bag on the shoulder, sitting in class. But in the inside, most of us are hiding things we never talk about. Fear of disappointing someone. Fear of falling behind. Fear of not being good enough. We just don't say it out loud. We just keep going. We write the test, we submit the assignment, we smile, we move on. But the emotional tiredness, it doesn't disappear, it piles up. And when students are emotionally drained, academics suffer quietly. The first time I ever spoke on stage, I was in kindergarten. I was pretty young. I was staring at so many faces. I still remember the bright lights falling on me. I said a few words and then my mind went blank. Silence. I did not fail because I didn't know my lines. I failed because I didn't know how to handle that moment. Nobody taught me that. Years later, in 5th grade, I had another presentation. The same nervousness kicked in. The same fear, the same nervousness. But this time, something changed. I paused. I looked at the audience, and instead of running away from the fear, I stayed with it. I spoke, not perfectly, but confidently. Something changed. Not talent, not practice, but reflection. I realized that when I pause, I perform better. And when I rush, I mess up. When I speak from comfort, not from memory, I connect. Reflection turned fear into familiarity. And that didn't just help me on stage, it helped me in exams, sports, and in classrooms. Let's talk about tests. We write a test, we get our marks, we move on. But rarely do we stop and ask, what was the mistake? Did I just memorize or did I understand? Most of us know this feeling. We read everything, we understand every concept, but in the exam hall, our mind freezes. Not because you didn't prepare, but because you didn't process. And no, I'm not saying this because it only worked for me. Schools around the world have started to realize that reflection isn't just a nice to have, it's an academic booster. Some of the schools have already started replacing traditional parent teacher meetings with student led conferences. So, instead of the teachers talking about us, students take the lead. We use reflective portfolios to talk about our struggles, our growth, and our plans to improve. That is the difference between struggling and succeeding by just a few minutes. And that changes everything. Some of us are good at one thing, some of us are good at many things: coding, speaking, sports, academics. And when you like many things, people often say, focus on one. But trying different things taught me what school never wrote in a textbook. Sports taught discipline. Dance taught expressions. Academics taught structure. Speaking taught clarity. And reflection connected all of it. Without reflection, they are separate. But with reflection, they support each other. Students today are tired. Not lazy, not careless, but tired. Because we constantly juggle academics, comparison, expectations, and constant evaluation. And we barely get time to process all of it. Reflection helps us from this. Reflection isn't emotional drama, it's emotional maintenance. And here's the important part: reflection doesn't need a new classroom, it doesn't need a new day. It only needs 5 minutes. After a test, what went wrong? What went right? After an activity, what did I learn about myself? Before moving on, am I rushing or did I understand? 5 minutes, and that can change outcomes. Because today's world is full of technology. Information is instant and technology is pretty fast. In that world, memorization won't save us. Self awareness will. So, maybe the most important skills schools can teach today is not another formula or an extra definition. It's the courage to pause and ask themselves one simple question: what is this teaching me? Because when students learn to reflect, they don't just perform better, they understand themselves better. And that changes everything. So before I leave, I'll leave you with a thought. The next time you sit down to learn something, don't just rush. Reflect and use those 5 minutes. Thank you.